But story is a great way to invite this newness, this freshness. So story can work with us at multiple levels. Our mind, our senses, our intellect, our emotions, our empathic capacities. And because of that, you could say that story is inductive of a yogic learning experience. Do you know what I mean? A yogic in the sense of a whole, like the work that brings together all the different parts. Now, I'm of the persuasion that yoga is not just an Indian thing. Because what really is yoga? You could say it's coming back to that oneness, that wholeness that we really are. And so I feel that yoga is really the deepest longing of the human soul. And we find the essential teachings of yoga in wisdom traditions from every continent. And we find those teachings shared in story. And story is great. So I'd like to tell a story now about the greatness of story. And this story, I understand, I was first told it by an Englishman in Scotland, called Philip. And I think the story is Yiddish in origin. It's a Jewish story, and it's set somewhere in the Middle East, way back. And it's set in a marketplace. In a town with a big marketplace, a market square, where the sellers, the shopkeepers, the marketeers, they come and they set up their stalls, their tables with their canvas shelter to protect from the sun. And it's a big square, and everybody's selling. People, you know, there's market day, so lots of people are around. And how are the marketeers? What are they doing? Sir!
Yeah.
Madam! Fine silks for you. Madam, you need a new vessel for the kitchen? You know, it's full of life, and the stall keepers are trying to get people's attention. Yeah. Hustle and bustle. And the stall keepers generally, whenever anybody comes by, they're always, you know, trying to get their attention. But then, this girl comes into the marketplace. And she's basically naked, except for a few rags. And because the stall keepers want to be selling all these fine new things, they find her presence uncomfortable. Because they think if she comes close to my stall, it might put people off. So when she comes close, they don't say, "Oh, what would you like to buy?" Because they can see she has no pocket, she has no purse. They want money. They don't even want to look at her. And they don't notice her piercing eyes, beautiful piercing eyes. And she goes around the market, trying to interact with the people, trying to communicate. But the people don't even want to, they just try and turn a blind eye. They push her away. If she goes close to someone's stall, they'll say, they kind of encourage her away without even looking at her properly. And she tries to find somebody who will talk to her, and nobody will talk to her.
No marketeers?
No, not even the people.
Oh, okay.
So eventually she finds a place. By the side of one of the stalls there is some shade in one of the tents. So she just goes and sits down, where she can look out at the market thinking, surely somebody will come along who I can speak to. Because she has something she needs to share. And then, a beautiful woman enters the marketplace. Like a queen, she walks so graceful. And her outfit is so magnificent, just so refined, so tasteful. And she moves so beautifully. And how do the people interact with? Everybody's looking at her. The gaze lingers on such rich, variegated beauty. And the stall keepers, you know, if I walk by, they say, sir, would you like? But when she walks by, Madam, would you care to look at what we have here today? They're not just solicitous, they're very polite. And everybody is captivated by her beauty. And she walks around the different stalls, assessing what's on offer. But when she gets to that place in the market where the young girl, almost naked, is sitting in the shade, the young girl looks at her, and the beautiful woman, she's not afraid to look at the young girl. And she looks her deep in the eyes. And she says to her, "What are you doing there?" And the girl says, "Nobody dared look at me before you came." And the beautiful woman says, "But that will not do, because the message that you have needs to be heard by everyone. Come with me." And she takes her in, within the kind of encompassing folds of her silks. And she takes her off, and they wash it, and she told her wash, and then she gives her the beautiful outfit. And then they walk together. And the woman says to the girl, "You need to be seen. Your message needs to be heard." And the girl says, "Who are you?" And the woman says, "My name is Story. I think I know who you are, but please tell me, just so I'm sure." And what does the young girl say? "My name is Truth. And ordinarily, the people don't dare look at me." And the woman says, "I know. And that is why, from now on, we will always walk and work together. Because the beauty of Story, its fascinating appearances, its layers, its depth, will allow even those people who prefer not to look at it to access the truth that really they are longing to see, and they are longing to hear, and they are longing to remember. And so, ever since then, Truth and Story walk and work together. Is it true? So when you were a kid, did you ever, like, maybe your parents or a teacher tells you a story, and you think, is it true? They tell you some beautiful story, you know, like these days, when I used to be a school teacher and the kids were already into Harry Potter, is it true? So when I was a kid, like Roald Dahl stories. Do you know Roald Dahl? Yeah. So he was a great children's writer. He was very popular when I was a kid. Is it real? Is it true? Yeah? And sometimes we want, if we think the story is just make-believe, if the story is just a story, that it's something babyish, something. But my meditation teacher, he said about the Purana. One time we were in Kashmir, and a guy came. He's called Chetan. Chetan means consciousness, by the way. And Chetan's a bit of a scholar. He's done a lot of work with Kashmiri texts. And he was asking about the Purana. Because the Purana, as we will encounter this week, and we already encountered last Wednesday with the story of Ganesha, the stories don't always seem particularly realistic. They have a fantastic element to them. And yet some people say they are true. And so my teacher said to Chetan, he said, "Chetan, the Purana are truer than all of the things you think are real." The idea is that the story is a lens and means to help us recognize that truth that is beneath the surface. That truth that is greater than what our mind can actually grasp or cling to.